Bad dreams. You haven't seen your worst nightmare yet. Your brain likes to start smaller. You know this one the second it starts. You're late. You forgot something important. You're standing somewhere you shouldn't be, realizing, too late, that you're unprepared. Nothing chases you. Nothing attacks you. It just feels wrong. These are bad dreams, not nightmares, not yet. They're uncomfortable, but they don't hijack your nervous system. You don't wake up screaming or bolt upright at 2 a.m. You wake up mildly annoyed, maybe embarrassed, and by the time you're brushing your teeth, your brain is already deleting the evidence. That forgetting is deliberate. Bad dreams happen during REM sleep when your brain is doing emotional housekeeping. It replays pieces of the day, tweaks them, exaggerates them, and quietly asks, is this worth keeping? An awkward conversation becomes public humiliation. A money worry turns into losing your wallet. A deadline becomes failing in front of everyone. The goal isn't terror, it's rehearsal. Your brain is stress testing reality with low stakes. The defining feature of bad dreams is forgettability. There's no full fear response, no emergency broadcast. The amygdala stays relatively calm, stress hormones stay low, and the memory system flags the whole thing as disposable. That's why psychologists don't always class these as true nightmares. They're emotional spam, mildly irritating, mostly ignorable, auto-deleted by morning. But there's still data. Bad dreams are the gateway. Evidence of what your brain sees as unresolved but not yet dangerous. When stress stops being manageable, your brain stops whispering, and the next level doesn't fade by lunchtime. Classic nightmares. These are the dreams everyone recognizes. You're chased, you're falling, you're trapped, attacked, or frozen while something closes in. There's motion, there's threat, and helplessness is baked into the script. Unlike bad dreams, these don't fade politely. They rip you out of sleep. Your heart is hammering, your mouth is dry. You scan the room just to confirm nothing followed you out. Neurologically, a second ago, you were not safe. During a classic nightmare, the amygdala, your fear center, slams the alarm. Adrenaline and cortisol flood your system, the same chemistry as real danger. Your body doesn't know this was fiction. As far as your nervous system is concerned, something just tried to kill you. Rude, efficient. What your brain is doing is running a survival simulation. What if this happens? The catch is that the simulation removes your ability to act. Your legs won't move, your voice won't work. That helplessness isn't symbolic, it's mechanical. During REM sleep, your body is paralyzed on purpose so you don't act out the dream. The nightmare keeps the fear and locks the controls. Very on brand for the brain. Fear and memory get welded together here, so these dreams stick. Days later, you still remember the hallway, the fall, the moment you woke up. For most people, this is as far as it goes. When stress doesn't resolve, the brain doesn't change the message, it just hits repeat. Recurring nightmares. Familiarity is the warning sign. You don't enter these dreams confused, you recognize them on sight. Same hallway, same fall, same moment where you realize again that escape isn't coming. Different night, identical script. The fear doesn't surprise you anymore. It shows up on schedule. Dreams don't loop like this by accident. Repetition means something didn't resolve. The stress wasn't processed. The threat never got filed as over. So your brain does what it always does with unfinished business. It resends the message louder. Most recurring nightmares aren't literal reruns. They're translations. Drowning when you feel overwhelmed. Being trapped when you feel stuck. Losing someone when you're terrified of being left or failing. Your brain turns raw emotion into imagery because pictures survive longer than thoughts. Under the hood, this is a memory loop that never closes. The emotional charge is strong enough to store, but the system can't finish the file. During REM sleep, the same scenario boots up like a glitchy program that refuses to stop relaunching. People with frequent recurring nightmares show higher rates of anxiety, depression, insomnia, and substance use. Not because the dreams create the problem, but because they expose it early. Sleep itself starts to feel unsafe. You don't just fear the nightmare. You start fearing the act of falling asleep, knowing exactly what's waiting. Once your brain learns that sleep equals threat, it stops using dreams as a warning. It starts escalating the hardware. Lucid nightmares. This is the level where awareness shows up, but control doesn't. You realize you're dreaming. You recognize the place. You know none of this is real. That knowledge should save you. It doesn't. The nightmare keeps moving. You're conscious inside a situation you can't change, awake enough to understand it, trapped enough to feel every second. The problem is timing. Your prefrontal cortex, the part that handles awareness, reasoning, and self-reflection, switches on early. The systems that control movement stay shut down. REM paralysis is still active. Your body is offline. Your mind isn't. You can think clearly. You can analyze how absurd this is. You just can't do anything about it. That's what makes lucid nightmares worse than regular ones. Lucid dreaming is usually sold as control. Fly, rewrite the scene, break the rules. Lucid nightmares give you the interface without the input. Your brain hands you the steering wheel, disconnects it, and waits. Time breaks here. Seconds stretch. Moments loop. 30 seconds can feel endless because the fear doesn't spike and fade, it plateaus. Steady fear is more exhausting than panic. You're not just scared, you're stuck in high-resolution terror with no exit button. At this point, your brain isn't rehearsing danger anymore. It's testing endurance. How long can you stay conscious under fear without waking up? Sometimes longer than you'd like. And when awareness still isn't enough to trigger an escape, the brain escalates again. It stops trapping you only in the dream. It starts dragging your body into it. Night terrors. You're not just dreaming anymore. The nightmare escapes containment. Your body joins in. You might bolt upright, scream, thrash, or bolt across the room with your eyes wide open. To anyone watching, you look awake and terrified. You are not. You're still trapped inside. Night terrors don't happen in REM sleep like classic nightmares. They show up in deep, non-REM sleep, when the brain is supposed to be offline and the body quiet. Instead, the fear circuits slam on while the thinking systems stay dark. Panic without awareness. Movement without memory. Your heart rate can spike, sweat can soak your clothes, breathing turns fast and shallow. From the inside, there's no story, no monster, no chase scene, no hallway. The fear system is firing at full power with no imagery attached like an alarm blaring in a dark room. That's the key difference. With nightmares, you remember the plot. With night terrors, your body remembers and your mind doesn't. When it's over, you wake up confused, exhausted, sometimes somewhere you don't remember going. Other people can describe what you did. You can't. Night terrors are more common in children, but adults get them too, especially under stress, sleep deprivation, illness, or medication changes. The brain slips into a glitchy middle state, neither fully asleep nor fully awake, running raw fear with no supervision. And once your brain learns it can trigger full-scale terror without a dream to justify it, it escalates again. It keeps the fear, but it makes sure you stay conscious for it. Sleep paralysis. This one lands immediately. You wake up in your bed, room looks normal, lighting is right, nothing feels dreamlike. Then you try to move, nothing happens. Arms don't lift, legs don't shift, even fingers ignore you. Your brain is awake, your body is not. Sleep paralysis happens when REM sleep ends out of order. During REM, your brain locks down muscles so you don't act out the dream. Here, awareness snaps back first. The paralysis doesn't lift. You're conscious, alert, trapped inside a body that's still asleep. That setup alone is bad. Your brain makes it worse. Fear spikes fast, breathing turns shallow, pressure builds on your chest. Then the presence shows up, shadow in the doorway, figure by the bed, something watching. Sometimes it sits on you, close enough to feel real. Your threat detection system hates loose ends. Frozen and afraid with no explanation, it assumes a predator exists, so it generates one. The hallucination isn't random or cultural myth. Paralysis triggers first, the entity fills the gap. Your brain would rather hallucinate a demon than tolerate uncertainty. Up to 40% of people hit this once. Every culture named it centuries ago. Old hag, shadow man, same paralysis, same pressure. Boundaries dissolve. You're not dreaming, but not fully awake. Room is real. Fear is real. Freeze is real. This is your brain's peak trap. Conscious terror with no escape hatch. Once it masters that, it stops inventing threats. It replays the one that already broke you. Trauma nightmares. This isn't a dream anymore. It's a replay. You're back in the moment everything broke. The crash, the hospital room, the phone call that split life into before and after. Nothing is blurred or symbolic. Sounds are exact. Smells are exact. The pressure in your chest hits before your eyes even open. Your brain isn't imagining, it's reopening a file it never closed. Trauma nightmares define PTSD. Between 50 and 70% of people with it experience them regularly. Unlike other nightmares, these don't stay in REM. They break through anytime your guard drops because the brain doesn't tag trauma as past. It tags it as live threat. Waking doesn't help. You can't dismiss it as just a dream because it already happened. The brain flags the memory as unfinished and replays it with full force, hoping, irrationally this time, it resolves. Your body reacts first. Heart rate spikes. Cortisol floods. Freeze locks in. You're not remembering the trauma. You're reliving it neurologically. That's why some avoid sleep entirely. Not from tiredness, but because it's a doorway back to what they survived once. At this level, nightmares aren't about fear anymore. They're about memory refusing to let go. Your brain's protective glitch, replaying the same alert on infinite loop. If any of this felt familiar, your brain wasn't broken. It was doing exactly what it learned to do. Subscribe if you want to stay one step ahead of your own brain.